So honestly, I wasn't sure that I was actually going to make another video revolving around Activision. Whenever I do make a video revolving around Activision, it usually involves their series around Call of Duty. A series that they've milked the hell out of and honestly isn't as good as it used to be back when I was growing up as a kid. But seemingly Activision isn't going to be having a booth at E3 this year. Now, if you've been living under a rock for whatever reason and you don't know what E3 is, E3 is the biggest gaming event in all the world. It's a place where a whole bunch of publishers and developers go and they announce their next game and either a new franchise or an existing franchise, but it's a sequel or a prequel or etc. And everyone's always usually excited for E3, but one company I'm never really excited to see at E3 anymore is Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, or just in general anything involving around Call of Duty and Activision, because Activision hasn't had a licensed published game other than Call of Duty in seemingly forever. Activision knows that Call of Duty makes a lot of money and people will pay whatever sort of money that they want or can in order to play Call of Duty, spend microtransactions inside of the game of Call of Duty. Activision is obviously smart when it comes to gaining a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that it's right. It's really greedy, and I hate the company and what they stand for and what they continue to do year after year by milking this franchise. But Activision isn't having a booth this year. Now, that doesn't mean they're not gonna probably not announce anything, because I highly doubt that, Infinity Ward isn't gonna announce anything, right? They're probably gonna go into the Xbox event, the Xbox like booth or whatever, and they're gonna announce the next Call of Duty game. And obviously I wouldn't be surprised, because usually information comes around this time of year, around April, May ish, and then they announce something at E3, which happens next month in June. And I wouldn't be surprised if they announce something, but hopefully they they don't, because I think for the betterment of Call of Duty itself and for the betterment of Activision in general, I feel like if they waited like a couple more months and waited until next year to release the next Call of Duty game, I feel like it would benefit the series and the next game overall. And my reasonings behind that is because, well, ever since they announced Sledgehammer Games as the next, development in the development cycle of Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and now Sledgehammer, seemingly the games have just progressively gone worse and worse and worse and worse. Because after Black Ops 2, Infinity Ward released their next game, Call of Duty Ghost, and a lot of people didn't like it. I think it's an okay game, but I can understand why a lot of people didn't like it. And then they kept making more games, and after that, just after Ghost and after Black Ops 2 especially, they just started making really bad games. And I think the reasoning behind that is because even though each developer technically has 3 years in order to develop the next Call of Duty game, which you would think, because they have technically 3 years in order to make the next Call of Duty game, they would have a lot more content in their game. Their games would be more polished, and there wouldn't be any reasons for there to be any day one bugs or glitches, or just there wouldn't be an issue with gameplay at all in terms of the multiplayer or zombies, because every single developer thinks that zombies is gonna attract their audience, but really only Treyarch does zombies okay. But you would just think that with a 3-year cycle they would be able to make sure that their games are polished, but for seemingly whatever reason, I truly think that they don't put 3 years into their development. I think they put either less than a year, or a year and a half worth of time into development for the next Call of Duty game. And the reason for that is because simply of just how unpolished these games just end up coming out to be. Especially Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 is just really, really unpolished when it came out, and granted, it didn't really help because it came out a month earlier than from when they usually release it. They released Black Ops 4 in October, when the games usually come out around the time of November, close to December, so that way kids can get it for Christmas and they can ask their parents to buy it for them, and then obviously they have Christmas dudes playing online multiplayer. But it's very obvious to see that they're not putting a lot of time into development, or if they do, whatever work they put into the game, they completely scrap it. And information was coming out about Black Ops 4 and said it was going to be kind of like Overwatch, and then they went back to what they were going with originally with the Call of Duty series, and that's because of over all the hype over Fortnite, and then they made a battle royale, and the battle royale's really garbage. I don't like it. I think it's really bad. It's not polished. And I just think that if Activision was smart and the developers were really smart as well, I think that a smarter idea would be to, hold the game back a year, put another year or so into development for the next Call of Duty game. Maybe it's Modern Warfare 4 from the leaks that we've been getting over the course of the last couple months. I just think that would be a smarter idea if they just held the game back a year, put a little bit more time into the game, make sure that it's polished and ready to be shipped out, and then it'll be much better of experience. Because I think that's the reason why, or one of the main reasons why people are such, advocates against Call of Duty now. It's because the games aren't polished. They don't feel nearly as polished as our previous games were, like Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, the original Modern Warfare, Call of Duty World at War even, even though that game was like not the most polished, it still felt more polished than any modern Call of Duty game that we've gotten over the last like 5 years, 4 years ish. Like, it's aggravating. It's annoying, and I'm sick and tired of the developers putting out such unpolished games. And I feel like if they just had, if they just put in more time, more proper time into development for the game, it'd be much better of an experience for the players, and people wouldn't nearly hate on Activision, or at least the developers for Call of Duty, nearly as much, because people are going to hate on Activision no matter what, because they're always going to, put in some sort of shitty microtransactions into their game, like Black Ops 4. There was, I'm not gonna go into it. That's an entirely separate video that I can make. I really don't want to talk about it because the video is gonna be much longer than it already should be, honestly. But that's just my opinions. If they don't have a booth, I feel like they shouldn't be announcing anything. But that's probably not going to happen because it is still Activision. It is still the Call of Duty developers. They have no idea what the fans want, and I can beg and plead all I want for them to put more time into the game, but they're just not going to do it, and it's going to be a real bad experience. That's just my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. But if you did enjoy the video for whatever reason, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content just like this, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. And for other videos that I have on the channel, be sure to go check those out if it interests you at all, of course. But anyways, that's pretty much the end of the video. I'll see you guys next one. Have a wonderful day. I'm out. Peace.